All praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. This is going to be a lesson on the book of Obadiah. All right, the book of Obadiah, which is the judgments that's going to be happening to the Edomites for what they have did to the Israelites, man. All right, for the judgment that they're going to receive for all the wickedness that they've done, and it's a future prophecy because the things written in this book have not taken place yet. Now, I'm gonna start Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 1, and it's only a 21 verse chapter. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith Yahweh power concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. And now people say, see, that's a rumor, right? But everything's a rumor until it happens, right? But what these Edomites don't realize on this earth is that all these different nations that they consider allies are making deals and getting ready to do things behind the scenes, behind Esau's back, which is the so-called Caucasians, right? That's who the Edomites are in the Bible, right? The so-called Caucasian race of the Edomites of the Bible, right? But these other nations are doing things behind Esau's back to destroy the man, because they've realized that the main problem on the earth is the so-called Caucasian, right? Despite how everyone wants to say that rap music is bad and all this, they want to say that black people are thugs and all of that. They want to say that Latinos are border jumpers, right? They want to say that Native Americans are alcoholics and that they don't do nothing and that they just should stay on the reservations. They want to talk all this mess. No, you're the problem. You Edomites are the problem, right? You Edomites are the ones that had everyone wearing some bugged out things on their faces and implanting and like injecting themselves with things, man. Yous are the people that did that. You Edomites are the reasons why people are having to spend the same amount that it cost them cost them for their rent. They're having to pay that same amount for their fuel. It's you Edomites that are the reason for that. It's you Edomites that are the reason why £1 is never always the same, and how it's a continually changing value, and its worth is continually changing because you make false balances and false measures, man. It's not no one that looks like me that's doing that. It's people that look like you that are doing it with a suit and a tie on and a bald head and a bold face. It's not us doing it. You're the problem, not us. You Edomites are the problem, man. You Idumeans. Verse 2. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. And now, what does that mean? It means that you've now been considered low among all these other nations. And when it says heathen, it means every nation that's not Edomite. You've been now looked at as for what you are, man. You're not righteous. You're not special. You're wicked. And everything that you do involves some way, shape, or form. Somebody has to die. Verse 3, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. And what that means is that these Edomites' pride has deceived them, it's saying in verse 3, and they dwelleth in the clefts of the rocks, man. They're the cave dwellers, man, right? But then also, they like to make these high type of habitation, man. And who's the one that's making all these high rises? Who's doing this? Who's making these high rise tower flats in every single place? Over here in the UK, who's the one that's making all of these tower blocks, man? Who's the one that made Grenfell Tower? Was it someone that looks like Wesley Snipes? I don't think so. It was an Edomite, man. Someone that's red, man. Verse 5, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If grape gatherers came, would they not leave some grapes? So when a thief normally robs someone's house, right, they can only take so much, man, right? And there's a saying that goes, took everything, I'm taking everything except the kitchen sink, or they took everything but the kitchen sink. But when Yahweh brings his destruction upon you Edomites, he's taking everything. The kitchen sink, the front lawn, the window panels, the front door, the door handle, the steps, the handrail, the skirting boards, the nails and bolts, everything, man. The soil, the pipes, everything is going to be getting taken in that day from you Edomites, man. Verse 6, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hid things sought up? And one of the things that's making Esau's hidden thing be searched up is that Esau is naturally wicked, man, and they're naturally are not a brotherly people. So in order for them to get maybe an extra $1,000, they'll be prepared to deceive one of their own nation, man. So then, therefore, when another Edomite deceives another one and steals certain things from him, that's going to cause for another Edomite to be like, you know what? Since he's did this, I'm going to steal. I'm gonna expose what the plans are. Then, since they've tried to kick me out of the group, I'm going to expose what the plans of the elites are now. I'm snitching. Basically, that's what they end up saying. I'm snitching then. Since you don't want to keep me in and you don't want to make me be part of this, I'm gonna snitch. That's what they say. So then they'll make their YouTube channels exposing occult things because they realize that they wasn't inside the group, right? And then because of their pride as well, they expose things because they have to tell people what they're doing, man. That's part of their witchcraft. They have to hide things in plain sight. But Yahweh's caused for people to wake up and also caused for people to expose what they're doing, man. To where now everyone will know what the Illuminati is. Everyone will have heard of these things. Everyone will have heard of Freemasonry and Freemasons. Everyone knows what that all-seeing eye thing is. People can see that and be like, that's a bit dodgy. Because Esau is getting revealed now. The daughter of Babylon is being revealed. Verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. And that's talking about all the people that are joined unto Esau in the NATO, in the EU, in all of these different Edomite war groups that they've got. They've been deceived by all these other nations, man, and everyone's starting to look at them like, you know what, you're the problem. They're starting to realize you're the problem, man. We want to chill. We want to just make money and relax. But every single time you Edomites are trying to add some next thing in, you're trying to always steal up something else. You're trying to always start a new war with somebody. We're just trying to start a war with one of our allies that makes us be able to get fuel at a low price, and we don't want to do that no more. We're catching hell in our country, and we want to just relax, and everyone's starting to realize that Esau is the problem, man. Verse 8, shall I not in that day, saith Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mouth of Esau? And that's what's going to happen. When they realize that all these nations have betrayed them, they're going to be like, what? How is this happening? Because these Edomites do not think that they're wicked, man. These Edomites, they really actually think that they're righteous, and they're not going to be able to understand why people don't like them. They still don't even understand why us, the Israelites, the Negro, Latino, and Native American, they still don't understand why we hate them. They don't understand why we believe that they're the Edomites, even though there's all this proof that if we're the Israelites, which we are, then they would have to be the Edomites, because it says that the Edomites had a perpetual hatred for the Israelites, and there ain't nobody on this earth that's had a perpetual hatred for us more than you people, man. There isn't. Verse 9, and thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mouth of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. So that's going to happen. So all you Edomite tough guys, when Yahweh Shai shows up, you're going to try and fight against him, and you're going to get destroyed, man. That sword that he gave you, it had an expiry date, man. That blessing of the sword that you was given had an expiry date. Verse 10, and this is going into the reasons why this stuff's going to be happening to you. Verse 10, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. So it's because of what you did to us. You should have never put us in slavery, man. You should have never did that. But you did it. And then not only that, you did more. Let's go into it. Verse 11, in the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and this is going into Babylon, ancient Babylon. He's captured his force. Let me read it again in verse 11. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was one of them. So Esau was there. And you can read about that in 1 Ezra, the 4th chapter. It says that the Edomites was there burning the temple down, and it was encouraging the Chaldees, right, which is a higher, it's like a higher type of tribe or something like that of the Babylonians, which is the Cushites, man. That's like a more exalted tribe, or a more exalted like intelligence of that particular nation. It's like the wise men. Um, and it says even now is one of them. So it's even going back to back then that you Edomites have got to get served up, man. That's mentioned in the book of Kings, verse 12. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day that on the let me read it again. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. And they rejoiced back then, and they rejoice now. And now they might say, oh well, I never put none of you in slavery. It wasn't me. I wasn't born then. But you still rejoiced though, and you've still looked. You still saw with your eyes what happened. You should have closed your eyes, man. That's what the Lord's saying. He's saying pretty much it doesn't really matter what excuse you're gonna come up with. I've got you, because you shouldn't have even did this small thing. You said you shouldn't have even looked, man. You should have when somebody tried to say in your family home, shall we watch a bit of Roots? That'll give us put us in a good mood. Shall we watch Django Unchained? Shall we watch Goodbye Uncle Tom? You should have closed your eyes and ran out the house and said, nah, I ain't trying to hear that. I don't want to get destroyed. But you didn't do it. Instead, you watched and was eating popcorn. And then the next thing, when you saw your token black friend, he was all smiling and proud in his face, like, yeah, we had you in slavery, though, yeah, you know, and calling him a black, and you was proud as hell. And then when you'd get drunk around him, you'd spew out what your real thoughts are, man. And that's why us Israelites, we don't want to be friends with you devils, man. And that's why you Edomites can bug out, man. And you want to always shake our hand. We don't want to shake your hand, man. We don't want to shake your hand. Verse 11, in the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even now was one of them. Verse 12, but thou shouldest not have looked on thy brother in the day that he became a stranger, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of their distress. And they speak proudly right now. You're never gonna get over it. You're never gonna get revenge. Get over it. And then they want to make up lies saying that we sold our own people into slavery and all of this. Well, let's say that was true, that still wouldn't excuse what you did when we was in that slavery, would it? That wouldn't excuse what you did to us, what somebody else did. Doesn't the scriptures let it be known every man's going to die for their own sins? Doesn't the scriptures let it be known God is not mocked? For whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. So you did it, right? You was the one that was busting our heads open, right? You was the one that was feeding us to alligators. You were the ones that made Jim Crow museums mocking us. You was the one that was painting blackface, laughing and mocking, painting it with big red lips and a pitch black face, as if anyone's really got that image on the earth. No one's really got that image on the earth, man. But you was the ones doing it. You was the one that making little 2-year-olds pick cotton. You was the ones that was doing grounding, which is a process by where you take a little Israelite child that's young and you might have diseases in your feet, and you place your feet on top of them and use them as a footstool in the hopes that your disease is going to come off you and go into them, and you're going to like use them and like transfer your disease by some form of evil and wicked osmosis into them, man. You were the people that did that. So when all of these things are happening to you, just get ready, man. It's going to be you people that are going to be suffering for the wickedness that you did. And it doesn't matter what excuses you want to have. You've got a lot coming to you, man. You Edomites have got a lot of things coming your way, man. A hell of a lot. And let me get into some more. Let me read some more, man. You Edomites have got a lot coming to you. A lot, man. Let's read this. Obadiah chapter 1. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 13. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on the day of their affliction. Let me read that again. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Now, if you go to one of these museums in London, right, will you not see architecture and will you not see antiques from Israelites in there? Yes, you will. So that's them touching those things. That's them touching and laying their hands on the substance, right? And I ain't even saying that over in Uganda, those people are Israelites. I'm not gonna, but some of them will be, right? But there's been 12 trillion of gold that's been found over there. 12 trillion, man. That's a hell of a lot of money. And I can guarantee that you Edomites are gonna be going for that. I can guarantee that you're gonna be trying to lay your hand on some more substance, which really all the earth substance is for the Israelites, because the world was made for the sake of the Israelites, man. Verse 14. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those that did escape, neither shouldest thou have delivered up those that did remain in the day of distress. And Edomites have did all of this. They did it in the past when we got destroyed from the Babylonian Empire, right? And they did it in the modern time right now as well. They're still doing it. It's not like they've said, you know what, we need to chill, man, because we're gonna get judged for this. They've just carried on still doing their wickedness, man. They ain't stopped. Verse 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. So it's not only Edomites that are going to get it, it's all these other heathen nations that are going to get it too. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. So anything that you Edomites have did, you're going to receive a judgment for that, man. And there's no way around it. You can't say, oh, I didn't do it though. You looked though. You looked. You rejoiced. Verse 16. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. And that's Esau. He rejoiced over us, right? He fed off us as a nation. So we're gonna feed off them as a nation, man. We're gonna feed off them as a nation. Verse 17. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. We're gonna have everything that they had, everything that they stole from us, right? We're gonna get. And Esau has his own things and his own land and his own things of his nation, right? But when he gets completely destroyed as a nation, we're gonna get even that too. Which Esau's plan was to try and destroy us and have everything that we have. But it's gonna end up backfiring, because we're gonna end up getting everything that we've got as a nation that was stolen from us, and what they had. We're gonna get all of Israel's stuff and all of Edom's, man. Verse 18, which is the favorite part, man. And the house of Jake shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh have spoken it. The day is gonna come and there's not gonna be any Edomites, man. There's not gonna be one Edomite on the earth. There's not gonna be any of them. Right? There's going to be no such thing as an Edomite left, because of what they did to the Israelites, man. And because they was also made as a vessel of wrath, fitted to destruction. They was made to be hated. They was made to be destroyed. Verse 19. And they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau, which they of the south is Judah. And they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau, and they of the plain the Philistines, and they shall possess the fields of Ephraim, and the fields of Samaria, and Benjamin shall possess Gilead, and the captivity of the host and the captivity of his host of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto Zarephath, and the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Sepharad, shall possess the cities of the south. So what he's pretty much saying is that the Israelites in general are going to possess several of the lands that are surrounding Israel, man. We're going to possess those lands. Verse 21, and Savior shall come upon Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be Yahweh's. Right? So when Esau is destroyed, the kingdom's then going to belong to the Lord, man. And that's when the Israelites are going to be under the new covenant, right? Which really before that, they're going to be under the new covenant. But that's when the earth's going to be in peace, man. And that's when it's going to be a new heavens and a new earth. And Esau's not going to get to experience that, man. I'm gonna end the lesson there. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Makar Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the nation of Israel. Shalom.